Hi friends, let's study the payment terms today. First is payment in advance. There are basically four payment terms. First is payment in advance. It's a common logic in the business. When the seller is a big party or is in a monopolistic market, what will the seller say? First make the full payment to me, only then will I dispatch. This is best for the seller and worst for the buyer. This method is followed only when the buyer and seller know each other and are in a long-term relationships. This involves lowest cost because no bank is involved in this, just the fund transfer cost would be involved. So this is only done when long-term established relationships are there and buyer is at maximum risk over here. Now we'll study other payment terms. Next is documentary credit. In this, the buyer and seller don't trust each other. That's why there is a bank in between which issues the LC and gives a payment undertaking to the buyer, to the seller, that see, so and so set of documents if are received, we will pay you. Then the seller exports the documents, exports the goods and sends the documents to this bank. Remember, the buyer is not in picture over here. He sends the docs to this bank and then if the documents are correct, the issuing bank sends the payment. Now what is the advantage to seller? He has a guarantee of payment. Whether the buyer pays or no, the bank has to pay. And what is the advantage to this buyer? Buyer knows that in any case, the bank won't be paying unless the documents said in the LC are received. Means the documents to evidence of goods that they have been shipped, they are received. So it is both advantages to buyer as well as seller. Now we'll look at documentary collections. Next is documentary collection. In this, it is similar to that of the LC. Only the difference is the bank does not guarantee any payment. It just acts as an agent. Here also, the seller sends the documents to the bank. The bank does not check the document. See here, in LC they used to check the documents. Here they don't check the documents. Only for KYC and AML part they do check and then hand it over to the buyer subject to, if it is a site LC, site document, then the payment needs to be received from the buyer. Only then the documents are handed over to the buyer. If it's a usance bill of exchange, means usance collection, then the buyer gives an acceptance on the bill of exchange or signs the promissory note. Generally, bill of exchange is used in 99% cases. In some countries, promissory notes are used. In that case, the buyer has to sign on the promissory note. So, it is similar to that of LC. Only the difference now, the negative part lies over here is, if the documents are correct which you have sent, but the buyer refuses to accept them, even if they are correct, then the bank does not give any payment. It immediately sends back the documents to the seller. Means the bank has no role to play except acceptance or rejection from the buyer. This is collection. Next is open account. This is exactly opposite to advance payment. Here the seller sells the goods to the buyer without any guarantee of payment. Means he sends the goods and then buyer pays to him afterwards. It is based on trust, similar to that of advance payment. Here seller trusts the buyer more and in advance payment buyer trusts the seller more. Once the seller ships the goods, then he sends the documents to the buyer with the paid invoice, means with a invoice to be paid. Then buyer pays it later. This is used when both the companies know each other well and it involves lowest cost. So these were the four payment terms. You can study other videos and for CDCS you can get with explanations question bank from this website uagro.com. Also you can download this app. Thanks.